Hey everybody, this is Rob with Empire Clan again. I'm doing an introduction video just to kind of talk about, since the events have changed, since we're going to a new round of events, that the Ascension Tower's final week has actually started. So I want to kind of go into the detail about the Ascension, discuss why the Ascension is important, why is it vital for you to ensure that you are taking advantage of the Ascension points and developing your cards to kind of counter the flow of the Ascension impact against the minions. So for example, that's going to dictate how your strategy is going to flow over the course of the 4 weeks or 5 weeks that the Ascension Tower campaign begins. So you really have to evaluate it, determine what path you're going to really invest your time and attention to, and then adjust your strategy toward that. Before we begin with that though, I'm going to go ahead and address some of these chests and stuff I have sitting here bouncing around on the screen. I have neglected this game since, gosh, I think yesterday evening. I haven't really done anything with it, so I need to go ahead and do some catch up. So let's go ahead and check it out. First, I'm going to go to the shops. As you can see, the shops always have some cash grab materials for you to kind of look at and spend your hard-earned money on. I really avoid doing that when I can. Let's look at the treasury though. So the treasury, I don't think I've ever covered this, so let's go ahead and talk about why we're here. Every 24 hours you're going to get a selection of 3 cards, 3 minions that you can either spend your money or spend your Pheromone to obtain additional cards to enhance your deck. Of course, the cheaper cards are always going to be the most that you receive, which of course in this case is the Swordsman, which I really do not want. You're going to have then the Executioner. Makes sense. Executioner is utilized during the Colossus campaign that's going to be starting, I believe, tomorrow. So I don't need it, but that's a good amount of cards, minion cards for that, for a very low cost of 2,000 gold or 2,000 Pheromone. I don't need them. And then of course there's the big boy here, good old Abomination. I really don't need it, but knowing my luck, when I do need it, they're never going to give me the card, so I'm just going to go ahead and spend 5,000 on my Pheromone to get the 1 card. And as you can saw, it's only 1 card, and you only get to do this once. Once you do it once, it's out of stock, and you have to wait 24 hours until it resets. You also get free gold every day, every 24 hours, but again, that's based off when you activate it. This is a rolling 24 hours, this one up here for the new minions. So after 24 hours, it's going to count down, and like at this point right now, it's 20 hours until the next set comes. It's going to be 24 hours from a specific set in time, so I guess that would be noon Eastern Standard Time is when it resets. And for this, it's 23 hours from when you, or 24 hours from when you select it, so you could very well miss your time slot. So say for example you're trying to time your gold retrieval at the same time as your minion deck reset offers. You miss it, like in my case I missed it by 4 hours, so now I'm gonna have a 4-hour difference between when this resets versus when this resets. So in those cases, what I typically do is I would let it go till midnight, and then the next day when I wake up in the morning, I'll get it. So I'll always be at least some hours before this one, so I can kind of get them in sync. It's up to you how you do it. I try to do that so I can maximize the amount of time I got to spend logging into this game every single day, because I don't like to make it my life if I don't have to. So if I can avoid having to log into this game multiple times during the day, I try to, because I do have a regular job I take care of. So that being said, let's go ahead and look at what this video is really supposed to be about. So first I'm going to open up my chests. Let's do the free ones first and see what we get from the frees. Commander, I don't need. Roan Rock, don't need. The Fire Imp's always a good card to get, because he's a good counter to the skeletons and the spam decks if you get them strong enough. Meteor Strike's okay, I don't use the card though. Okay, so let's gems. I never say no to gems. I always take that. Alright, let's look at the next one. Commander again, why are they throwing her so much? Blade Dancer, I'll take her. Spear's good. Undead Raid, because they're still pushing this damn spam. Okay, well, that's surprising. Oh, more gems. I'll take it. Okay, so that's for the free. Let's see what we got sitting here. So, as you can see, I have 1 8-hour and then 3 regular ones, 3 3-hours. So let's go and start with them. Now I'm done. take the Mountain Giant. This is actually not bad. So we got Mountain Giant, we got the Blade Dancer, and we got Ice Rift, which is always a good. Alright, let's see the next one. Another Mountain Giant. They're being generous to the Mountain Giant. And then, of course, we got Undead Army, another spam. And then they hooked us up with the Hammer of Gods and the Chain Lightning, which is a plus. Once I'm able to start going back to my Valen strategy, I'll be able to use the Hammer of Gods again, because I love using that spell. Alright, so the other hour. Pixie. Alright, some Elite Warrior action, that's good. And of course the Frozen Heart, which is the Noella spammy. The elites are good ones to get, especially if you're trying to play the long game. Alright, 8 hour. Big one. Executioner, we already got one. We'll see here. Divine Protection, that's not bad. I mean, I don't use the spell, but that's good to get those in the case they do some type of buff that's going to make me change my decision making on using that, or if I get my Valen up to a certain level, it's where Divine Protection actually does a benefit for me. Okay, gold, gold, gold. Getting my gold back up to 400,000. Okay, so I have no more chests to open. Let's look at my challenges. I got to open up some victory chests, so I got to really push on this thing to get my victory chest up. And just to kind of show you why, I have all this crap waiting to be picked. Sorry, I went the wrong direction. All this stuff, see it all? Alright, so there's a method to my madness. Look at the challenges. Okay, so I did the artifacts, now I'm working on the victory chest. Right after that is open up some battle chests, which I got to open up 10 of those. That's going to be easy because they give you a bunch of 3-hour ones, and I can knock out a bunch of those in a day. Right after that is the Phoenix tokens, which is 1,800 Phoenix tokens I have to open. Okay, so if you look at what I have on my victory path, sorry, not victory path, but on my battle path, you can see I already have 600 there, another 300 there, another 300 there, another 600 there, and then I'll be getting to the 400 right there. So I'll have my 1,800 before. I just got to make sure I get this completed before the time ends for the challenges. I'm sorry, not challenges, but for the arena, because the arena will be over here shortly. It's going to end in 6 days. I should be able to accomplish that, especially with the Colossus happening, because the good thing with the Colossus events and the flag capture events, it actually goes towards your victory chest allocation. So every check mark is for every battle that you win. You win Colossus, you win flag, capture the flag, you get a check mark there as well. So you can catch yourself up rather than playing constantly and not actually having chests. See, because I don't like to play the game unless I have a chest space open. Entirely your prerogative, that's what you want to do. That's how I play. If you don't have a chest spot open, you're pretty much wasting potential resource consumption. So what I mean by that is that if you have all your chests filled, they're timed and nothing there, and you play a game, you're just wasting money unless you decide to use your gems or your ferrum to open them up. I don't like to waste things unless I really have to. That's kind of how I go with the free to play concept. So only play the game, again, for me recreationally, only play the game if you know you're going to need to get some resources out of a chest. Once you open up a chest, play into the battle, because you'll make up any of these victory chest spaces here by playing the events. So don't waste yourself. Again, Colossus Awakening and Capture the Flag. Probably won't have that before the 6 days, because it looks like the next thing they're going to throw at us is the Last Hero Standing. Again, I hate that event. But the Colossus Awakening is a fun event too. I'll do a video on that when it comes alive. Okay, so let's see here. I need to actually request some stuff. Thank you guys for everybody who donated to me. I appreciate it. And let's see here. I'll do that. Donate some reflector. Alex, I'll give it to you, man. Love your name, by the way. And just so you guys can know, based off of my previous videos when I discussed the raid event, we got up to level 34 in the raid, so we got past the 30, got to 34. Again, it's difficult. We have a lot of younger players relative to like their minion power and strength. Also, resources is an issue when it comes down to actually getting getting equipment, because a lot of them haven't completed the campaign yet. So it's going to take time for us to get to a level like some of the larger guilds that just blow through that crap. They also made the event harder. It seems like they did some adjustments to the spider strength and power and its health. So that thing is very, very hard to bleed down. Unless you're like a top-notch, have a bunch of level 12, 13 level players that have all their cards maxed out, it's going to be very hard to get through those progress all the way to the very end. Disappointing, because we want some extra frost witch for some of the people in the clan that don't have it, but it is what it is. So let's see here. So let's go ahead and look at the Ascensions and talk about the Ascensions. So this is the Ascension Tower for this season. As you see, we're on week 4. So what they do is every week they give you an enhancement based off the cards you have. So first week it was Arcane. They gave everybody a 5% damage and a 5% health boost if you had them in your deck. The next week was the Realm. Then after that they did Void Week. So they buff every single minion card, at least one category per week. And then the final week, what they do is they give everybody a buff. So everybody's level playing field. Now let's talk about the Ascensions themselves. So the Ascensions themselves, you have to pick the path that's going to work with your strategy. So I technically would normally go to the left based off of what they have available here. So they have some cards that I would love to use. Don't care about the Reaper. I would use Executioner in my normal deck. I would use Valkyrie. As you can see, for Executioner, it extends his grab, so he gets extra, I think 50%, so it's 75% of the total lane gets pulled now toward him, which is fantastic, especially towards special events. The Valkyrie increases her speed +3, which might not seem like a lot, but for her, it's very fast. She moves about as fast as a Blade Dancer, I think slightly faster now since they nerfed the Blade Dancer's speed, but also her power is just ridiculous. She's one of the strongest hitters in the game. She has the least amount of health, but she packs such a wallop. You could freeze with a Noella's freeze spell, have her run up to an Abomination while the Abomination is freezing, she will kill the Abomination. If she's uninterrupted in her attack, she will kill that thing. So she's a great great card to have for the Ascension path that they're on. And then for you spammy people that want to use something like Undead Army, I used to like the way it was before when the Undead Army was actually less cost, because now they made it now cost 9 mana. Before it was 8. I believe, and then with the reduction it made it down to 7, so it was equivalent to the Undead Raid, but now they increased the cost of it, but that's a good spammy card to have. And then of course his Hellfiend dropping down his cost by 1, which is fantastic, because then you can throw him on the field faster. Then you have the Doppelganger, which then reduces the cost by 1, so now it goes back to 3 versus where it used to be back in the day before they nerfed it, where it was only cost 2 mana. So it gets you close to that middle range, so they were trying to accommodate those who complained about losing that option. Then there's the good old Abomination. You make him faster, so now he's stomping across that field faster. Still no changes to his strength or anything of that nature, but he's now got a little bit more pep in his step. That's dangerous when it comes down to the Abomination. The Anubis is a good one to have, especially for those who don't want to spam so much, but do want to take advantage of his skeleton regeneration for purposes of, like, say for instance your Bloodstalker. He now spawns 3 skeletons every 7 seconds opposed to 2. That is a big difference. That's a big game changer for the field. It might not seem like it, but trust me, it makes a big difference. And then there's the Punisher. So before, when he kills things, he just gets a little bit stronger. You see this big old thing grow out of his chest. Looks like a big giant shard coming out of his chest. Okay, he gets stronger, but now if he kills things, he'll get his health back. That could be very, very problematic. So I haven't seen anybody use that specifically yet, because I don't think everybody's going down this path to get to that point. I think what a lot of people are doing is doing a mix, which is kind of what I was looking to try to do. Then you have the middle category, which again, this will be your realm section. Anybody who's green. The shield bearer cost only 2 now, so it makes him just half of what he normally would cost. He's good because he's a good tank to utilize. Then of course you have the treant, who then heals people around him with his Ascension, which is great because he automatically heals himself. Then you have the water element, so as he passes through your minions to push things back away from your minions, he's actually healing them as well, so that could work very well depending on the strategy you're using. Frost Imp, this is a fantastic Ascension. So if you can get to this point and use him in your deck, this will help you a lot. So he automatically freezes people, and he freezes them for about 5 seconds. This adds another 3 seconds to the freeze. 3 seconds is an eternity in this game. So if you can stop everybody in their tracks for 3 additional seconds, that will give you so much time, especially in the long game, to start putting down some very, very massive hard-hitting minions to take advantage of that opportunity. Because I mean, you're stopping everybody in the lane. It hits the entire lane. There's not one card that's immune to that. Then you have, of course, the Colossus. All it does now is that when he blows up, does damage to everybody around him. So doing his attack damage explosion, which would be the 6,480 damage that I have on mine. Mine's a very low level, but he does that damage. It's going to hit everybody around him. That could be pretty impressive depending on the situation that they're in. And if you combine that with the freeze, so say for instance you put him down, he's pushing everybody to the wall or to the portal, and then everybody gets to the portal, he's still alive, and you use that new Ice Imp freeze to hold him down for 8 seconds total. It takes his animation, I think, about 5 seconds to go through. You now have just not only hit the portal, but you've also hit all the minions that were there. That could be a big problem. Fire Witch, she just reduces her cost down by 1. Anybody who's used her in her deck and wants to control spam, that 1 extra mana is a benefit. It's definitely a benefit. I don't use her personally, but I think that would actually be somewhat of a nightmare if you're combining the Frost Imp and all other stuff in it, and then you're able to use the Fire Witch with 1 less cost. That's going to help you out. The Goblin Marksman, they add an extra 5 range to him, so that makes him again buffed up just like the Silver Ranger. If I had to choose between a 4-cost mana Silver Ranger, or a 5-cost mana Silver Ranger, or a 4-cost mana Goblin Marksman, I'd probably go with the Silver Ranger. I'll eat that 1 extra mana, because the Goblin Ranger, even though he's a little extra distance, is good. His attack is still not as strong, and his health is not as strong as a Silver Ranger. This one is a pain in the ass. You have the Ascension for Pixie, and what her Ascension does is that when she originally does her spell on the field, if she hits the character that she froze with her spell, they wake up and they can start countering her. Now, nope, doesn't work. Now, I believe that if another minion attacks them, they wake up, but it's her specifically, it does not wake up. Of course, the normal counters of using, like, say for example, Bloodstalker, the Bloodstalker sucks energy from everybody, that wakes everybody up, so it only works for her attacks. It does not negate the attacks from everybody else. Then we have the final one of this category, which would be Trinity. Trinity, this one could be a nightmare. I haven't seen anybody get this Trinity up to that point yet for this Ascension Path season. But again, like I've spoke about in the other videos, it now makes her replicas no longer kill the other ones if they're taken out of the equation. So in the original path of this of Trinity, she has 3 replicas on the field. If 1 replica dies, they all die. They all do individual damage, but if 1 dies, they all die. Well, now no longer works. So in other words, for 4 mana, you're putting 3 ranged attackers on here. Her range isn't great, it's only 25, but it's still 3 ranged nonetheless. If you can shield her from, say for example, an Amazon's attack, you could definitely do some damage with 3 high-hitting Trinities, because her attack power is pretty impressive for her little bit of health. Alright, so let's go to the one that everybody's doing. As you can see, that's the path I've been following, which is, of course, the lovely Void. So, I'm sorry, not low, I'm sorry, the Arcana. So I had it backwards, I'm sorry. This is Void over here. This is Realm. This is Arcana. Alright, so let's start from the beginning. Brute makes him a little faster. Just adds extra speed to him. Still a Brute, still a pain in the ass, because he's a good tank. He's still too costly for my taste at the level that I am to utilize a Brute. He's just, at this juncture in my game, the way I play it, he's not worth it. I mean, he still costs a little bit too much. If they dropped him down to maybe cost a 5, I know why they have him to 7, because they want newer players to have a cost card because they don't have access to those cards at that moment. I do think, though, if they reduce his cost, they might see him more utilized if that's their intention. You have the Wisp Mother. She now does double healing speed for the person that she's healing, so that could be very problematic if you place her behind, say for instance, a high cost Revenant or Abomination or even a Bloodstalker. She could definitely counter poisons and such like that from the Viper, as long as you got her buffed up enough. Then you have the archers, which again, they just give you an extra archer to the group, so now instead of laying down 3, you now instead of 2, now you actually get 3. That could be a pain. You have the Blade Dancer. Now she does triple the attack, so when she does those 2 swings, she's actually doing a 3rd swing. That could eliminate archers, that could eliminate Rolling Rock, anything presented in her path. Silver Ranger, I've talked about him. He has additional 5 range, as you can see, versus the Goblin. He has more health and he has a harder attack, so he's definitely worth the extra 1 mana to use opposed to him. Then there is the Elite Archers. Gives you now 4 archers in 1 lane, so it spawns an extra 2 archers, 2 archers in each lane. That's a pain in itself. So I use them in my deck, so I'm not going to talk bad about it, but it's very spammy. It's a good tactic to use, like if you're saying, okay, I'm going to use these guys, I'm going to focus my attention to defend in 1 lane. Say, for example, an Abomination is swinging, just taking out everybody you put in front of him. Well, your objective is not to kill the Abomination. Your objective is to slow him down so you can finish off the portal. So you put in the lane of the Abomination, a little bit distance away, the 4 archers. So now that means he's got to do swings 4 times to even progress forward, while the other lanes have the 2 archers that typically get placed in them, and they're attacking. So you're pretty much trying to use them not only as an extra aggression, but you're also using them as a shield buff to prevent that 1 lane aggressor from going forward until you can either get a spell or you can put a Viper in front of it, whatever the case may be. Just like anything else, if they get attacked by a group hit, like Amazon's attack or a Revenant that's in front of them, of course that's going to kill all of them together. However, that's just another layer of defense you can put in front of your aggressors. The one that everybody hates, and I hate to say that I'm using it right now, is the fact is the Magic Construct. Reduces this cost by 2. Reduces the cost of 2 of any next cards you lay down. It does not do the spell buff that you get for Reese Power, but it does act as a mini Reese Power for only 3 mana. So let's say I want to put the Elite Archers down. They cost 7 mana. I put him down first. He gets put on the ground. It does this little animation. It then reduces the cost of the cards for the Archers to 5. I then put them down behind him, and anything else I lay after them, of course, is going to increase his strength because he just grows as things get put on the field. He will be a pain in the butt because if you don't take him out, he does grow and then becomes an issue later on, as long as he's, you know, not too close to your portal. So pay attention when people are putting him down. Do not let him linger. He will become a problem over time because what he's doing, he's giving the player speed is really what he's doing there. He's saying, okay, I reduced the cost of your cards, of your minions. You're able to put them down at a faster rate. You combine that with Ree's Power, which then gives you another reduction of placement of cards. You're now escalating the volume being put on the field, which then increases his strength. So it's a twofold Ascension. Very, very OP, a very problematic spell. I have not heard anybody talk positive about it, but again, all the people that are talking about it are the ones that are losing to it. I've lost to it, and I've won with it. So I don't really have anything bad to say, except for it does encourage you to use nothing else but Re. And that's disappointing because you want to use variety in your heroes, and he encourages you to only use Re because the only thing you're going to use with him is Re's Power, because you're pretty much getting double the Re's Power plus some, because if you have 2 of them in your deck, the odds of them popping up more often than not is in your favor. So it's very spammy. Then you get the Prince Vendor, which now gives you a little shield in front of him, so he can defend himself a little more. His attack goes through enemies, so he's good against spam. Having an extra shield gives you the capability of really annihilating the skeleton spam decks that come through. And then there's Revenant. Revenant's Ascension this period gives him an extra 5 range, which then now turns him into a ranged attack, because technically he's not. He has to be up on the attack onto the minion or a group of minions to take the hit against them. Now you get a little bit of a distance of range. I'm torn between using this Ascension or not, because I really want to get the Valkyrie ascended so I can use it for the event. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get enough Ascension points before tomorrow, so I might just have to bite the bullet and go ahead and use my Revenant, because the Valkyrie is a good card to use in the Colossus event because of her speed that she gets and her attack. So she could run really fast to the Colossus, hit it a couple times, and then turns it on your side while still moving extremely fast. That's a good plus for the event, so I might have to sacrifice one of my other Ascensions just for the purpose of getting this that Ascension for the event, because I won't probably use any of the other ones. Really, I won't use any of these guys on the arcane path for the event, except for maybe the Magic Construct, of course, because of the buff, and then maybe the Blade Dancer just because of the extra hit. So we'll see. I got to look at my tactics tomorrow and decide how I'm going to address that. Now, with the Ascension Towers, you do get daily tasks, or you get another grouping that gives you rewards at the end if you finish on the top. Right now, since it's the last week, it's the 4th week, they give you double the rewards inside the container, which, as you can see, this is pretty much cards, gold, and some minion card details, and some runes that you can use for your categories. So I try to finish this off. 60 is what you get a day, so you can play the campaign event to get your Ascension points. You can also get it through battle. They did change it to where now you're getting more Ascension points, and I think there's a reason why they did it, and here's my theory. So before, when you played the campaign or you played a battle, you only got 2 Ascension points. Now they buffed up to 4. Why would they do that? I mean, are they trying to help you not have to spend as much time in the game? Absolutely not. Why would they do such a thing? There's a reason why they're doing it. The reason why Nordis did it is because if I had you only getting 2 each time and you sat here and farmed this, let me show you what I get every time I win one of these battles. This is the card deck I'm using for level 205, which is what I use to farm my equipment and my Ascension points. So let me show you this. It's a one-laner game. I don't do this in real live events. This is only for this is only for the campaign, because that's what's dictated here. So as you can see, I'm throwing everything in this middle lane because nothing's going to spawn in the middle lane until after all this stuff happens. Watch, I'll show you. Alright, in there. And in less than 30 seconds, I destroyed them. So, you want to farm and you've completed the campaign, that's the level you do it on. Get 4. Alright. Get a chest. In the chest you get all this crap, which is this equipment that, because I have so much, it then starts to get sold for the dust, the forging dust that I need to enhance them when I get a good one. And this is the reason right here. I got 50 essence and 512 spell runes. What they essentially did was cut my harvesting in half. Because now, if I'm only working for Ascensions, I'm not going to do this unless I'm really interested in getting those materials. If that doesn't make sense, let me try to explain again. You play the campaign to get these Ascension points, okay? Not only did you get the Ascension points when you played it before, you also got those materials. So what they said is like, what can I do to make people buy more of the packages during the raids? Oh, I know what I can do. I'll limit the amount of time they spend playing campaigns, because while they're in campaigns, they're getting the stuff that I gotta sell in the guild raids. Because remember on my last video, I showed you guys the packages they sell for Valen. They said, okay, you get Valen, you get 10 of his shards, you get some this, that, and the other. You get some of the essence to enhance your hero, blah 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 blah. The only other place you can get that from is here in the campaigns. So they in a sense cut that out of the equation. So that's what they did. I don't see any other reason why they did that. I don't think a lot of people were bitching and moaning about having to play the campaign all the time to get extra materials. I honestly believe that's the reason why they did that. And unless you have a different opinion, that's how I'm going to stick to it. So please, if you have a different opinion and perspective of why they did that, please leave it in the comments on this video, so we can kind of converse back and forth, because that's the only logical explanation I can think of, because I didn't have a problem going in there and playing it you know, however many times a day. I think it was like 20 or 25 times a day during my breaks, or just at night when I'm laying in bed doing nothing but watching television, or if I'm sitting in the living room watching a movie with my wife and kids. That's what I did. It took me literally 5 minutes. You saw how fast I did that level. That level only took me less than 30 seconds. Even at the most, it took me 30 seconds. So I would spend 5 minutes there, and then later on in the day, another 5 minutes. They just wanted you to have to pay more. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast. But since I digress, let me move off of that. That's just my little 2 cents of how games tactically try to get you to spend money. So just keep that in mind. Be cognizant of what the game is trying to do and what other games are trying to do to you. So I got this reward, so I'm gonna go ahead and I wanted to save this for the vid, so I'm gonna go down here and show you. Look what I got. So I completed the majority of the tasks that they required of me. I didn't really have a lot of the harder ones, like having to win 8. I did win the 8 in a row, but having to win a bunch in overtime. I didn't have to do all that stuff, and I'm probably going to end up finishing this play regular battles times 200. That's an easy one. You can actually lose. I can lose for the remainder of the numbers that are there and get that reward if I wanted to. Will I do that? Probably not. But you can. It's playing battles. It's not winning battles. That's the difference. But let's go unlock this. Let's see what I get. I have money that I'm gonna probably get a Ruin Cannon, or it's going to be, I don't know, a Punisher. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. Let's check this out. Alright, here we go, guys. Trinity, a card I don't use, but okay. At least it's not a Rune Cannon or a Punisher. I'll take it. Alrighty then. Look, I hate to be cynical, but this game, unless you're paying for something, they typically don't give you great stuff. I have gotten Revenants. I seldomly get an Immortal Knight. I seldomly get a Health Fiend. But really everything else is stuff that I never really use. Majority of the damn time it's going to be a Rune Cannon, or it's going to be a Punisher. After I unlock the Punisher using the Phoenix tokens, they seem to be being extremely generous now. Maybe for all that time I did not have it in my deck, they're trying to hook me up now, I guess. I don't know. But it's a little annoying. Alright, so since we're doing the vid, it wouldn't be a good video unless I go ahead and maybe do a battle or two. Let's go ahead and look and see what we got here. Again, that was the deck that I'm using. As you can see, I am using the archers. I'm using the magic construct and re. The strategy I'm using is not a total crazy spam, but it's spammy enough to defend me. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so right off the bat, I start off with 2 magic constructs. So that's just unfair. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the magic construct. All right. So watch what I do here. I put down Reese Power, and I'm gonna get to do the archers. Look at that. So I just reduced the cost dramatically for those guys. Even with her Ascension. Look at this. It's They need to do something with that. They need to somewhat nerf it or something. I don't know what else to say. So I mean, just look at that. I'm just totally overkill. I'm actually gonna do that just to give her some benefit. See? And the game is done. So you see that? And again, you're listening to it from a person who's using the strategy, and I'm telling you that it's not fair. It's definitely an OP strategy, which means overpowered. For those that aren't used to the acronym, it is an overpowered strategy. you'll get a person on occasion that has a very, very good defense, which the defense is doing what this person was just doing. I think maybe it was just a draw issue. But they use Noella. They do a lot of blocking, so it controls your spam stuff, because those runes that she puts down technically would kill any skeleton that destroys them, and if the archers are close enough, will do extreme damage or kill them as well. So it's a good spam. It's a good spam defense. Also using the reflector. Reflector is good. I think that might have been just a draw issue, and she could have, or I would say she, because I don't know if that's a he or she, but that individual could have probably put up a better fight. That's why I do have the reflector in my deck to kind of counter the reflector, and I am using the new Frost Witch. I'm sorry, Ice Witch. I keep calling her Frost Witch. I don't know why. The Ice Witch to help with the groups that get behind those pillars and also destroy some of those pillars when they're in combat. So let's do another one. And that put me up against level 11s for no reason or another. I guess there's a lot of people on right now. Okay, so let's see here. Again, I start off with a Magic Construct. So I'm not gonna use him right off the bat. I'm just gonna put down the Reflector. I am gonna put him down now. Which what he does, he now gives me a buff to use with the Revenant. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and go in one lane. I typically don't do this, but I'm gonna do that just because I don't wanna be unfair. It could be my downfall though. Alright, so I'm not gonna let his archer get up there until kill the Silver Ranger. I'm gonna use that because I want his attention here in this lane. He's gonna probably use a Viper. Yep, there he is. Lovely old Viper. But see, now there's a lot of strength in that lane, so now he's got to make some decisions. I'm gonna put the Ice Witch there. That was smart, but his guy wasn't strong enough. All right, so there's Pixie. I couldn't tell if that was an Ascended Pixie or not. But I'm gonna wake these guys up. I'm gonna put that down there. See, and the Silver Ranger's just so damn far, and with his Ascension, he's just doing damage. He's halfway across the field almost. And even with what they're doing there. So you see what I'm saying? I don't think it's very fair. And don't get me wrong, it might look like I'm just gliding through these battles. I've faced some crazy people already over the past week. And I've had my fair share of like, holy crap, I'm like, this person's got every counter against me. And I'm okay with that. With this type of deck and the benefit that it gives you, I am not going to complain about losing. I think, you know what, touche, you figured out something, you beat me. I'm cool with it. I will not complain during this season when they give you the Magic Construct as an option for Ascension. It's definitely just an OP card at this point, especially if they don't kill him, because if they don't kill him and he's all up on that deck, he's all up on your portal, holy crap. All right, so I did not get a Magic Construct off the bat like I did the other two battles, which is fine. We had the same idea. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna do this just so I can get my spell fast. And he killed it, and I put him in the wrong lane. Let's see here. So I think he's gonna try to kill those guys because he doesn't want them to kill his rune cannon. So I thought he was gonna use. Oh. Well, would you look at that? You don't really see that much of her anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and kill her now. There we go. So, the Phase Assassin is definitely a problematic card if you do not take care of her fast enough. That was a nice try there. So what he was trying to do there is he was trying to block the Bloodstalker from getting close to the portal by using Rolling Rock, because his weakness is spam. There you go. Two Ice Witches just shooting from afar because their range is overkill as well. The third longest range in the game. Oh, I got a deluxe chest. That's a good 99 chest to start. Alright, so I'm going to queue these two. I'm going to queue that. So I got that one going. I got this one queued. let's see here. Where am I at? Because it keeps trying to get me to open that crap, and I'm not going to do it. All right, so I'm at almost 4,400. So let's do one more battle. Let's see if I can keep the streak going. They'll eventually put you against somebody who's just going to kick the shit out of you, but we'll see what happens here. Let's see if I get lucky. Alrighty. It's thinking. It is thinking. So if it doesn't put me against a killer role player, it's going to put me against a frickin' Blitzkrieg bot. Okay. Another level 11. Good. And we're doing both Re. And it looks like he's doing Re's power and I can't tell if that's healing wave or if that's lightning. That's lightning as well. Okay, so we're probably both doing the same thing. We're both doing magic construct. We both have reflector down at the same time. I'm gonna put my Viper down first. I'm gonna then unlock the Kraken. All right, so he's doing that, but I'm gonna eliminate that out of the equation. I'll put those guys up there. He wasted that lightning on a Viper, which is odd. There's the spam strategy there. The reflector's doing the deal. My archers are stronger. Alright, so I took ground faster. So that means he's probably done. When you're playing against somebody with a similar strategy, if you get ground before them, you're typically going to be the one, because now he's playing defense. So, see, he's... Alright, so the only benefit I got there is his distance. There's that. Put him. There we go. Another ice switch for the phase assassin. And I'm gonna kill that phase assassin with the lightning. That's why I held it, because I did not know what he was gonna try to throw. And see how that construct is just growing and growing and growing? It's becoming a problem for him. And every time you put something, see, he had to freeze it. So he had to waste the freeze to kill that. So I'm not gonna focus on, see, everybody's instinct would be, okay, I'm going to take care of that Silver Ranger there. And that's actually the wrong one, because, see, I still have ground. You want to kill the Silver Ranger, so you can't kill him from a distance. He's got too much range. So unless you got a Silver Ranger that's either stronger or has more power, you're not going to be able to kill that with anything else you put down. So you have to think about it. Let him get halfway midfield, then put something either ranged that's a little bit distance from him, or something that's right up on him to kill him. That's the strategy with the Silver Ranger if you don't have anything that's got enough distance to attack them head on. If you don't have a reflector, if you're a reflector, use a reflector. But if you don't have the reflector, you have to wait for them to get to midfield if you have ground. If you don't have ground, focus on your other lanes, let them get ground, and then put something in front of them. You got to separate that distance between your minion and your Silver Ranger. So that's the tidbit for today. Alright, so I moved up. Oh, looks like I surpassed some of my buds. Alright, so we're getting there. Alright. I think that's enough for the day. What do you say? Alright, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Hopefully I gave you some insight relative to the Ascension Tower and what's going on with the Ascension right now. This is a spam Ascension this week, or this month. No way around it. They seem to be working out some type of spam structure. This is the path I'm going. I would like to bleed into the other side, but I don't have enough Ascension points to get into the tower side that I want to, because I would typically do, I would go to Void, and then I would do Arcane. And I have done the Realm section before, because I wanted to try the Trinity. But Trinity's too far up at the pagoda right now to even worry about. I mean, she's all the way up there. She is a good card to have for Capture the Flag. With her Ascension, that's a nightmare for people. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits. Again, hopefully this video was informative for you. I hope it's helping. If you have any comments or questions or concerns about the video that you would like to add some 2 cents to, please leave it in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Over the past week since starting this, I've grown quite a few subscriptions already, and I appreciate everybody who's decided to take part in this experiment. And hopefully I can continue to provide content that is entertaining but also informative for you guys. And please, if you have any ideas or any suggestions for a video that you want me to try out, if it's a deck, if it's an idea, if it's just some input you want me to provide to you relative to a game strategy that you're doing, please leave it in the comments, and I will be more than happy to either incorporate it into a video or directly reply into the comments. Alright, with that being said, guys, as I always say, be safe, be sharp, and until next time, talk to you soon.